because it really struck home when Gary Keller said it. It's never the wrong time to buy the right home. So it's never the wrong time to buy the right home and get ahead of the rest of the competition.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. With about 5,000 guests here on the show today, we're super excited. I am your host, Bill Knapik. A tremendous weekend once again, as we all love to talk and listen to real estate talk all over Houston, Texas, and even beyond. So welcome to the show, reminding you to go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio, where you could see all the shows. That is where the show archives are. So now let's get started as we talk with Gigi Bauer and Stacy McAdams. They are with Coastal Dreams Realty Group. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, Bill. Thank you so much. We're really excited to be here.
No doubt about it. Well, ladies, first of all, let's tell people the company is called Coastal Dreams Realty Group. What a great name. Let's tell people about your company. Gigi.
Well, Coastal Dreams Realty Group, well, we're actually a new team, and our company is just fabulous. We focus on Houston, of course, but we also are the realtors to the Houston coast, especially when we're looking at beach houses, League City, Seabrook, all in those areas. But of course, again, we have wills and will travel. So we are Houston. Stacy McAdams is my broker to the stars. She used to be my realtor and stuck with me for 7 years as I rented, and she would just be like, Gigi, I don't know what you're doing. You're throwing away your money. So finally, one year I decided I'm going to own a house, and that was the year that she sold me my house. And then the year after, I said, I'm in the business.
Well, what a fascinating story. We could talk for hours just about that. And so, Stacy, it sounds like you do what a lot of real estate professionals do, and that is inspire people to make them realize home ownership is attainable and probably a good idea. So let's tell people a little bit about that thinking.
Yes, I think everyone should own a home. It's just always been what I feel, because who wants to rent forever? You're throwing your money away. I think it's always a good time to buy. You just have to get yourself prepared, get a good, solid team behind you.
Well, and as far as, did you come up with the name Coastal Dreams? How did that come about?
Because I love the coast. I live on the coast. And we just started talking about different options, throwing it back and forth, and we came up with Coastal Dreams because we just think home ownership is a dream. And so the name just came together like that.
And give us an idea, those that are listening, certainly right here in Houston and even beyond, as far as the coast, because sometimes people don't think about Houston to where there is a coast. You can live near the water. You can see the water depending where you live. Give us an idea geographically, Stacy, of where your company is the most.
Basically, Galveston County, League City, Friendswood, Clear Lake, Seabrook. That's kind of where we're trying to focus the most. But I started my career in the Heights area, so I'm very, very familiar with the Inner Loop as well. I was there for 10 years. That's pretty dominantly where I was. But I grew up also in Galveston.
And as far as the market goes around the coastal areas, let's say, what's happening right now, real estate? How active is it? Are there a lot of buyers appearing? What's happening?
Yes, sir. So we are seeing a lot of activity, especially in the Galveston area, because we have those great ports that the big ships are coming in now. We've got Royal Caribbean. As a matter of fact, Stacy and I were out in Galveston on Saturday looking for one of our clients for some property for him to turn into an Airbnb, because there's just not enough hotels to help these folks who want to come and do a cruise and stay for the night and then go hit the cruise ships. So, my client came to me and he said, I want to buy some investment properties, make them into Airbnbs, and help house some of these folks for the day or two. So we're really seeing a surge in that. And of course, it helps when the interest rates drops a little bit too. So
Well, there's so many things right there when you talked about the port.
Yeah.
As we think of economic drivers in various places, wherever we think about in the United States, but certainly in Houston, Texas, sometimes people forget about the port being such a big economic driver, as is the
Absolutely.
Space Center and all those things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Houston is a mecca for it. And, again, we love that area. We go anywhere because Houston is our town. So it doesn't really matter. But we've seen a surge just about everywhere, Bill. It's amazing. We're excited for the future, too.
And I think-
Expanding, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think our area also is wonderful and perfect because you're 20 minutes from the ocean or 20 minutes from Houston and all the stuff that Houston offers. So it's like great where we're at. It's a wonderful central location, especially if you're working downtown, but you maybe don't want to live downtown or that's perfect. You can get anywhere minus traffic, maybe 20, 30 minutes.
And also the whole cruise ship element. I
Yes.
forget until I'm reminded. I know a lot of people in our company and our team actually take cruises now and then. I've not done so,
You need
but
to.
I should take a cruise because it's so convenient right here in the area you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. And with Galveston having such a rich history, it's just really neat to bring clients in that maybe are not familiar with the area, and then they fall in love with an Airbnb or a Victorian style house, and then we're able to do that for them. So that means a lot to us.
And Stacy, you've been in the real estate world, I'm told, for many years. What is it that you love about real estate all these years?
I really love working with my clients. They become family. Half the people that came.
You brought Gigi on board.
And I
How
did.
did that? How
I
about
like
that?
Carrie. I make them. They become family. It's not just the clients. You just get close to them over working because it's hard when you're buying a house or selling. It's very. It can be very stressful, and so we work very hard to educate, to stress-free this process, and also to make it fun. So we're kind of known for that. And then just to, you get so close to these people that you invite them to places. My wedding, I invited half the people at my wedding were clients, past clients, because they just, we get close to each other. So it's fun. But real estate is just fun. Every day you meet someone different. They come from everywhere. They might come from another state, another country. They really rely on us and our knowledge of the area to help them navigate through this process because it's different from state to state and certainly from different countries. And I work with a lot of international clients in military, and they're coming from everywhere.
That's an interesting element. I didn't know that military people are coming to Houston maybe more than they're going to other places. And I've not heard that. Interesting.
Well, mainly like Coast Guard because of the water areas,
The
because that's
coastal
where they're going to
living.
be.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yeah.
And they're going to be assigned somewhere where there's water. I mean, that's where they're going to be assigned. So I get a lot of Coast Guard clients as well as military. It's just where they're based.
Well, whether military or not, are you seeing a lot of people that come from other states, other cities, Gigi?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we do see a lot of that. And, we're Texas proud, and, we're going to raise up our state as much as we can. And everybody's just they cannot believe how, nice we are and how things are just so different in the state of Texas and, better ways of living. So, we really pride ourselves on being able to educate.
And how proud we are.
And how proud we are. We're proud Texans. Yeah.
Well, and then how do they find, there's so many real estate professionals here in Houston, certainly beyond, how do they find out your company, Coastal Dreams Realty Group?
Well, we have a very nice website, coastaldreamsrealtygroup.com. And that's one way that we promote, but also the different designations that we have too. A lot of people there's a lot of referral system that goes through that. I have a lot of referrals from other states because they go in and they look and maybe I'm an international specialist or buyer specialist, seller specialist, or even with the military designation, a specialist in that, and they'll go in and look and see who's in their area.
We're talking with Gigi Bauer and Stacy McAdams with Coastal Realty Group. Well, give me an idea. I don't know, when you talk to someone that's coming from outside of the Houston area, and let's say they've never been here before, Gigi, and you're talking to them on the phone first, let's say, what is it that they ask about Houston, and what are some of the the most important things that you need to tell them or that you do end up telling them?
Right. So usually when, a potential client will call me and they've never lived in the Houston area, they are going to ask about how big the city is. The city's huge. We're 7 million plus. It's a lot of people. So we have to really drill down as exactly where do you want to be? Where do you want to live? Are schools important to you? Do you want to be close to work? What exactly we want to drill down as much as we can, because I know I don't really like to commute a whole lot, unless I have to. I'd love to stay close to home if I can. So a lot of my clients want to stay close to home as they can. So they're going to ask that. Of course, traffic is always going to be, in question. What's the traffic patterns like? And I usually say anywhere between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Let's get out there and let's be home, back in our side of town by 3 o'clock, then you don't have to worry about it too much. Some people have that luxury. Some people don't. So we just kind of say, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it, not to worry. But I would say traffic and, of course, location, because everybody wants to make it just as easy as they can on themselves as possible.
And no state income tax.
And no state income tax. And great food.
Yeah, the great food's another thing.
Great
There's
food,
another hour.
Sports.
So, in the meantime, before we close the segment, Stacy, what else do you want people to know about your company and what you're doing?
Well, Coastal Dreams Realty Group is big on customer service. It is we focus on it constantly. We want to give this a good experience. We want people to walk away with this great feeling about us and the whole process, because I'd never want to hear someone had a bad experience. A lot of times we get that when they come to us, that they've had a bad experience. They don't like realtors, and I don't want to hear that. So I want to do everything I can to change that and endear them to me. My phone number is 281-222-1144, or you can go to our website at coastaldreamsrealtygroup.com. 281-222-1144.
And Gigi, what else should we know?
Well, you just have to know that we're the best in the business, and we're a good time, and we're gonna take really good care of you. Just ask the Gigi.
Ask the Gigi. And your phone number is?
My phone number is 713-252-9900. And don't forget, find me on the website. Phone number is 713-252-9900.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
As we continue, let's talk to Corey Herring and Michael O'Neill with Keller Williams Northeast. Hey, guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, when we think of Northeast Houston, right? So let's tell people, first of all, Michael, about your company, Keller Williams. You're up there in the northeast part of town. Let's tell people about it.
So I'm the principal broker, one of the owners at the franchise Keller Williams Northeast, which is Humble, Atascocita, Kingwood area is most notable. So we have around 250 agents at any given time. And so we've been here for 35 years as a franchise. And
250 agents.
Yeah, we have that many.
That's a team, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So as far as the market right now up in the Northeast, and again, as people listen from outside of Houston, it's kind of the center of Houston and those different loops around it. And we're talking about the Northeast part, which is a very active and very exciting area. Let's give people an idea of the activity up there now, Michael.
Okay. So we're seeing the trends right now, basically still having movement, but it's definitely year over year. I look at a lot of reports. I'm very analytical. Definitely down year over year when you look at the amount of sales transactions being done. I think the latest report was just released where we're down around 8.3% year over year, month over month. So we're seeing a trend down. So the activity definitely is not what it was. Still seeing some out-of-staters come in, of course. So still having transactions, just not the level that we want. At the same time, not what it was. So an example would be, I think we put out, quite a few listings last week, not having a ton of showing activity, and hearing that across the board from agents that do $40 million in our company to that hadn't done a transaction. So not seeing the activity that we have in the past, no doubt.
Well, and Corey, let's tell people your role on the team of 250 or so real estate professionals.
Well, thankfully, I had the opportunity to go into leadership back in February, so I became the assistant team leader at Keller Williams Northeast. So my main focus is agent training, consulting, making sure that they're getting their value out of joining our brokerage. And then, of course, we're seeing a lot of listings today. Buyers are on the sidelines with interest rates today, but if they continue to wait, and all of the rest of the buyers who are thinking exactly what they're thinking continue to stay on the sidelines, and then everyone comes off the sidelines at the same time, we're right back where we were with multiple offers, over asking price. So it's never the wrong time to buy the right home and get ahead of the rest of the competition.
Now, would you say that again? That is such a tremendous quote. Go ahead.
Thank you. I've been practicing it because
We like that.
we want to be louder than the news because we're actually in the real estate market on a
Because you know
daily
what's really
basis.
going
Yes,
on. Yeah.
Yes. And we don't want people to be in a fear mindset. My business isn't based off of fear. It's based off of facts. And everyone is thinking the same thing. I make 300 calls a day to multiple buyers and sellers, and they're all saying the same thing. So they're all thinking the same thing. And we don't have enough inventory to keep up with as many buyers as would come into the market if we hit that dream interest rate.
Okay, so you're talking to how many people a day?
300 people.
And you're saying they're potential buyers?
It's
or
really
you're just
a mixture.
trying to get a feel for what's going on and let them know about Keller Williams?
Yeah, so we have a really great database from an online lead generation source. We have a great website. We cache their information, and we're talking to buyers from Washington, California, and even other people who want to downsize or make a transition in life already here in Houston.
You're getting some real good information.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, where do you get the stamina? When you're on the 295th person, how do you keep the energy going? What's happening?
My team leader over there,
You
he'll
mean
call
Michael?
me. Yeah,
there he is. Yeah.
Michael will call me the next morning and he'll ask how my calls went. Did you make those calls? How many people are in your database? And
Yeah.
so it's that accountability that I get with the team and my office that keeps me going.
So we've also been in production. So I have a group, the Michael Neal Group. I'm the CEO, and Corey started with me from years ago, and we've sold, I think, helped over 1,000 families in the last 10 years with that group in production. So not only am I the broker of Keller Williams, that franchise, I'm still in production. So I get to see the latest trends, not just from what I'm trying to teach an agent. We're doing it. So we keep up with new technology, how to control a database. We're big into database. It's really important for our driver of our business, and we're able to teach that to our agents at a high level. And then that's where the agents at Keller Williams and the trainings and the things that we do differently, we're able to intermine those together, and which really works well.
Well, and one of the things I was going to mention until you started, and that is Keller Williams is known for many things, known worldwide, but also one of the keys is you're known for training. And periodically, I guess weekly and ongoing, you have a lot of training programs and a lot of training initiatives, and you have the great Corey Herring.
Well, we have a great team leader. Her name is Monica Dedman, and I'm the assistant team leader. So hand in hand, we're able to support the agents and make sure that when they sign up with our company, they're not just signing up and then being forgotten. We're making sure that they get value out of hanging their license with our brokerage.
And in terms of supporting a group of realtors, this number, 200 plus, you have some that are newer, some that are more experienced, and all those things. What are the things, Corey, that are the most common support elements that you bring forth, or support initiatives that you're counseling with, say, more than others?
Yeah, we have productivity coaches that are dedicated to our new agents and experienced agents, but you'll typically see more inexperienced agents in the productivity coaching program. And so it's that hand-on-hand contract writing when you go to write your first contract, and the top producer that got you here isn't available because they're showing, or your instructors from Champions, they didn't really teach you how to do this part. So we really sit with them and we work through the contracts, and then we regularly, Michael O'Neill and Monica Dedman teach contracts classes as well, and they write contracts in that class to where that they know what to do when that time comes.
What about when every now and then I would think, like any profession, a real estate professional is going to get in a rut? So what are the resources that you have, or what are some of the things that you would counsel someone with if they're like, oh man, I'm just in a rut right now,
Mindset's a big part of the business, yes. And we have Bold every first quarter of the year, and it's building a life by design, not default. And so we're going through the deep dive into mental relationship with our business and how we're going to propel into the next year. And then also we do in October 29th, we have the MREA Millionaire Real Estate Agent Business Planning Clinic, and that also goes over mindset as well and how you're going to go into the next year. So I'd say every quarter, because that will be the fourth quarter, Bold will be the first quarter, and then second and third we'll have smaller micro events to go over mindset and assistance. And I think culture in the office ties into that as well. When you're an independent agent and you're not going into the office or you don't have an office to go into, it can be a very lonely and isolating business. Whereas at our office, you can ask Jeremy, you never go into the office and there's not someone yelling, "Hey," across the office and there to talk to you and see how you're doing in your business.
Michael, as you're looking at the trends, and we said this year's down a little bit, but here we are winding up the year, 2024. Who would ever thought we got here? 2025. What are the trends that you're projecting, not just in your Northeast office here in Houston, but as you talk to other Keller Williams offices around the country?
You know, it's we have so many conversations. We still will deal with a lot of buyers. I teach agents like what to ask a buyer, like how to have that conversation. And one I was thinking the other day was like, so is this that moment? Like when you're talking to a buyer, you need to remind them, is this that moment? Your competition, and for years you had to sit on the sidelines because there was nothing to choose from. Now we're actually seeing inventory rise, right? So the trend you're going to have, supply and demand, is getting more balanced. Is this that moment? Have you ever been with somebody where said, oh yeah, remember back in 1992, I bought this house and it was a great time to buy. Oh, I made so much money on the appreciation side. Is this that moment today? Because nobody's doing it, or there's less people to compete with. So is this a moment that you should enter the market and take advantage? So I'm teaching that. And I also buy properties, portfolio properties, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm still purchasing properties. I'm trying to find opportunities out there that other people were pulling back. There was so much competition on the investment side for so many years. Well, now a lot of that's pulled back, and we're seeing and able to make offers on properties that make sense financially, for rental properties, for flip properties. There's out there. So we're trying to teach the agents how to have that communication and a good conversation with a client. Like, is this the moment to move forward? Is this the moment that you might regret later if you don't act now? So don't worry so much about the interest rate. If you can afford it, get out there. And if you need it for your family, get out there and find it for your family.
We hear so much about interest rates, and yes, it's a massive factor, but also there's a bunch of cash buyers out there. And I say that, how many do you see in your 250 agents? About what's the percentage on the buyer side that are cash buyers, roughly?
You know, it was really crazy during COVID. I probably only worked with a handful of buyers up through my career, through helping lots of families, right? Buyers found cash when they needed it. For some reason, they just figured it out. Like there was companies out there that were born it for family members, from 401ks, you name it, they were doing it. I think now that there's not near as much cash demand. They're there, but I would say percentage-wise, it's hard to scale that. I'd say right now where you can actually compete. Like I even saw contingencies get accepted in the last couple of weeks. You know, those disappeared for a long time. We didn't have to teach how to write them because they weren't there unless, like, if it comes up, come call me. I'll help you figure it out, right? And so we're starting to see that again. So I would say probably a smaller percentage of cash today. They're still there, no doubt. But it's not what it was 2 years ago.
We're talking with Michael O'Neill and Corey Herring with Keller Williams Northeast. Corey, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
I'm going to repeat because it really struck home when Gary Keller said it. It's never the wrong time to buy the right home. So like Michael said, if you can afford it, let's get you into the right home. And my phone number to get a hold of me is 936-402-2921. I'd love to help you strategize your own real estate business and answer any questions you have about real estate at 936-402-2921.
And if there's a real estate professional out there thinking about joining the team, who should they talk to?
I would love to talk with them. We have free business consultations, and if they're an experienced agent, we actually have one of the best in the industry that can help really strategize their business and make sure we can get them where they want to go.
And you were pointing at Michael when you said the best in the business. Michael, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
By nature, I like to help people. I always have. When I was working with clients, when I'm working with agents, there is no competition to me in this business. I know you hear that. I love to help agents. I have agents call me from different brokerages that are local, that are friends of mine, and they're like, hey, or they're not friends, and like, I hear you're the guy to go to. I just enjoy helping people. If you're ever looking for that, if you feel like you're not getting it at your brokerage, just reach out to us. Come have a conversation. It never hurts to have a conversation to see how it might better your future. You just never know.
Phone number is
832-797-3780. 832-797-3780.
Let's continue and talk to Corey Fleming and Crystal Swaney. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Thanks
Bill.
so much.
And you are with the Evan Ballou Group.
Yes, we are.
So let's tell people, first of all, about the Evan Ballou Group.
So the Evan Ballou Group is a team run by Evan Ballou himself. There are 18 agents on this team, all female with the exception of Evan. And we are brokered under a very established, seasoned brokerage up in North Houston and Montgomery County called Top Guns Realty. And Conroe. Yeah, Montgomery, that area, yeah. And the team's been established, I believe, about 4 years now. This is my first year on the team.
Wow. So it sounds like a very large Charlie's Angels, but you're all realtors.
All right.
Yeah.
It's Evans Angels.
Yes, Evans Angels.
Well, that's super awesome. Well, Crystal, let's tell people your role on the group with the group.
I represent buyers and sellers.
Well, one of the things that I found out about you as we talked before the recording here is you have been in the real estate world not 10, not 12, but 21 years. So you've seen some changes.
Quite a few, yes. A lot of changes over the years. Very interesting to watch the industry go through so much.
And give us an idea, to be in any profession for a long time, and we'll call 21 years a long time, what keeps you interested day after day to be so excited about real estate all these years?
So actually, I have been in real estate my whole adult life, but a lot of the times I say I've been in it my whole life. I moved around a lot growing up, and my parents were not fond of dealing with realtors. So I did a lot of the work, actually. I found the homes, I set appointments as a 12-year-old doing all this. And so a lot of realtors...
It's in your blood.
Yes. So it comes natural to me. I enjoy it no matter what.
Well, Corey, also, let's tell people the marketplace and geographically where your group spends the most time.
So our group is predominantly up North Houston area, Montgomery County specifically. I, however, am the singular agent on the team that represents South Houston. I'm a third-generation Houstonian, and I currently live in Pearland. So I kind of skew that whole market area as well as North Houston.
Well, we'll tell people that are listening, not from Houston, if you're outside of Houston, when Corey says Pearland, that is almost directly south, isn't it? I mean, that's the south center.
We're the south side. Yeah.
South
for real.
side.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, as we talk about Pearland, let's tell people what's going on in Pearland. Is it very active right now?
Absolutely.
What are you seeing?
Yeah. As far as placement goes, I mean, it is south of the centrifuge of Houston, like central Houston. So it's a quick, highway shot right into, inner city Houston. It's in the suburbs, so it's more affordable for families to live down there, and it's booming. I mean,
would it be safe to say in Pearland that you have a choice of existing homes or pre-owned homes, and there's also new homes? I'm hearing about new developments and things down there. Is that true?
Yes. We have, it's growing, like I said, so we have a lot of sprawl happening, which is a lot of land being purchased and developed and new builds going in. Myself, I live on like 2 acres in a 1970s home in Pearland. So
2 acres?
Yeah. So I got chickens and everything. So there's a little bit of both down there. It's kind of like North Houston. You get a little bit of country, you get a little bit of city. So
you have a horse?
I wish. I have to talk to my husband about that.
What role do the chickens play in the...
They're my egg providers and my friends.
Well, so I'm just thinking about production here. Certainly we think about real estate a lot here, but I wonder if they're running low on production, you have a talk with the chickens and say, hey, we need to speed it up, guys.
We feed them. Yeah, I love on them a bit and give them some extra protein.
It's funny. I just had a friend that lives not too far from here talking about in the spring area where there's no zoning that's talking about getting some chickens for that reason, to have healthier eggs.
That's a whole other show, Bill, but I'll go there.
We could go on for days.
All right. Now, how many acres do you live on, Crystal?
I have half an acre.
Half an acre. So you still have a little elbow room?
A little elbow room, yes.
So that's awesome. Let's tell people some of the other things that you're doing, Crystal.
Well, I know that she touched a little bit on new construction. New construction is huge right now. In fact, traditionally, new construction is always sort of the fringe of the market. Today, it is nearly outpacing resales. And that is because builders give options to buy down rates, which is obviously very attractive to a lot of people. So that's definitely a huge difference that has come about.
Well, and one of the great things about a lot of great things about new construction, but one of the greatest is you could tell the insurance company you have a new roof.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And then that keeps the rate
New AC,
reasonable.
brand new foundation, warranties, and with them able to offer lower rates.
And geographically, where do you spend most of your time, Crystal?
Magnolia, the Woodlands, Montgomery, Tomball.
So let's just take those three places, Magnolia, Woodlands, Montgomery. Which one is the most popular, if any of those three right now?
The Woodlands.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Always has been.
And also, before we started the show, I understand you have some statistics. It looked like you had notes and all these kinds of things. So which one of the statistics do you want to share with us? Because I don't want those to go to waste because you went through a lot of trouble.
Well, I was just touching on Montgomery County single-family homes, and I did over the last 10 years from 2014 all the way up to year-to-date of 2024. Of course, we can expect the average sales price has gone up tremendously. What I was noticing, though, is the amount of units. So in 2014, for instance, the average sales price was $298, and we did 8,707 units. In 2021, kind of at the peak of the time, the average sales price was $399, and we were doing 15,000 units. But now, in the past 3 years since then, the average sales price has gone up to $425, but the units has gone down to 10,000. So doing more volume, less units just in this past few years.
And when your group gets together and has a meeting and you talk about next week, end of the year, and even 2025, what are some of the things that the bullet points that you're talking about as to what you're speculating, what you can expect as realtors?
Well, we're always hopeful, but projections are showing that buyers are hopefully going to begin to get off the sidelines and that sellers will begin to put more inventory on market. And so that will, of course, help the market tremendously as far as keeping it level and even, and everybody, not having a repeat of 2021 per se.
Well, it's interesting you say that because it makes me wonder how many buyers right now are actually on the sidelines.
I have an interesting thing to tell you. I had an open house for one of my listings last weekend in Pearland, and there were 18 different families that came through. At one point, there were over 40 people. It was like a party in there. It was crazy.
Okay, so tell us about the house.
So
what was
the
price of the house?
$525,
okay.
And we got a cash buyer at $515 for it. So the buyers are there. They're just waiting for the perfect property, the right time, the right inventory, and so we all know they're there. They're just a little gun shy right now.
Well, they're all in Pearland at this house.
They are.
Everybody was.
All 40 of them.
Yeah, they are.
But the one that got the home was the cash buyer.
That's right. Cash is king, Bill.
How many offers were on? Were there multiple offers, or was just this the person?
This is an ironic thing to say, but there was only one offer, and it was only cash. So. The finance buyers didn't come through. So, that's another thing. When they see there's competition, they're shying away from that competition because they're afraid of the price going up as well. So there's a lot of factors playing into a lot of things right now that we hope go away, projected into 2025 in the next quarter.
And this was your open house?
Yes, it was.
So maybe you just have some skills,
maybe,
open house skills.
I've been doing this a while, so...
Well, on the open house note, because open houses are very important, I think, for so many reasons. But as far as open houses go, if you were to pick just two things, you were talking to a brand new agent, and you said, this is how you should do an open house. Make sure you do at least these two things as well as the other five you should do. What are two important things?
Well, marketing the property is one, and then two, just being personable, because that's our job. We are in the relationship building business. So I would say when people come in, you're greeting, you're being friendly, and, engaging in conversations with people that are walking through the door as much as possible.
And then how did you handle a crowd like this? I mean, throughout, they weren't all there at once, I'm
yes,
guessing.
Yes, they were.
Oh,
That's what I'm
goodness.
saying. At one point, there were like 40 people in there. It was like a party. It was nuts.
Super awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
We're talking.
It was wild.
With Corey Fleming and Crystal Swaney. Well, ladies, before we close this segment, Corey, what else do you want people to know?
If you're looking to buy and sell, we would love to help you. We're a very efficient, high-level communicating team, and we would love to help anybody in the market to buy or sell.
And your phone number is?
It is 281-846-8117. That's 281-846-8117.
And how many chickens do you have?
Right now I have 3. They've been dying.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Well, on a sad note, meanwhile,
Womp, womp,
Crystal,
womp,
bring us back up here. We're sad about the chickens, but, there's more where they came from, I'm just saying.
Yes.
Crystal, how can people reach
They do
you?
lay the eggs, so
Yeah.
maybe-
Yeah.
My phone number, 281-235-2979. 281-235-2979.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
Bill.
right, thank you.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John, welcome to the show once again.
Bill, always a pleasure.
Every week. It's always interesting.
Better and better.
Better and better until I don't know what's going to happen. We keep getting better. And
Well-
listeners keep sending in the positive reinforcement. That's what I love.
Well, that, and it's exciting that we know that we've got such quality people in the real estate industry.
So well
and folks
said.
out that are truly engaged and committed to taking care of clients, and that's really critical.
No doubt about it. And once again, it's insurance time. People wait every week far and wide. What have you for us today?
Let's talk a little education today. It's been a minute since we've talked about and shared with our listeners the continuing education classes that Stewart Insurance offers. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time today about sharing some information about those classes and offering those up to our, realtors and brokers. If they'd like us to come out to their office and teach those classes, we'd be happy to do so.
That's right. And you are very busy helping with the CE classes all over Houston and sometimes beyond.
It is. We will teach close to 70 this year, and we teach them at the Stewart Title offices. We'll teach them at the brokerage offices, and then we also offer the classes through the Houston Association of Realtors online.
You'll even go to Kingwood,
I'll even go to Kingwood.
Pearland,
Pearland, absolutely.
Montgomery.
I've been to Montgomery as well. I've been to all of those places.
Yes, education is so important, and it's exciting as you're finishing the year with classes that you're doing. Maybe even you have some openings this year. I don't know, but certainly I know you're planning for 2025.
Well, we can always find the time to work with our brokerage partners to help them out with any continuing education that their team needs. And we're finding that the agents, and the brokers, the professionals that are successful are just that. They are professional. And they're not taking the classes to check a box so I can get my CE credits. They're taking a class to learn some information, and it's really been rewarding for me because of the great questions that we get asked, and I'm forced to learn every day as well.
In fact, as I attended the Two Sides of Water quite a while ago, actually, I need a refresher, but it was interesting to see how engaged the realtors were because we think about water from aspects of flooding. We think about when something happens within a home, a pipe breaking, a washer hose failing, all those things. So, they're engaged because it's such an important topic.
Well, and that's a great segue. So one of the classes that we do offer is the Two Sides of Water, and it's
my favorite. You know that.
I know that's your favorite. It's a 2-hour class, and we look at how water can damage a home and what insurance plans would come into play. So if we're talking about water that's coming from the outside in basic terms, then we would be looking at a flood. And then we're also looking at water damage that occurs inside the home. So if it's the water's coming from outside in, there's a specific definition of a flood. And we'll go through what that definition is and then talk about what are the different types of coverages that are available. So you can get flood coverage from the National Flood Insurance Program. And we'll talk about the pros and cons of that coverage. There's also coverage available from private organizations. So we'll talk about those coverages and what's the pros and cons there. And then we'll get into the water damage side of it. What happens if the water damage occurs inside the home? So that's where a home insurance plan would come into play. But not all home insurance plans cover the 4 different types of water damage. So make sure people understand what those 4 types are. And then do they understand, do I have that coverage? And if so, at what level? We'll also spend some time talking about whether it's an all perils or a named perils policy and what those differences are, as well as its actual cash value or replacement costs and what those differences are. So not asking our realtor partners to be insurance advisors, but what it does is give them a chance to say, Bill, as you're beginning to prepare to buy that home, here's some questions to ask your advisor, or here's some things to look at the potential coverage for that home to make sure that you're comfortable with it. So that's the first class, is the 2 sides of water.
In fact, of all the classes you have, John, is that the most popular class?
It tends to be, yes. It tends to be, yes, especially considering where we live and that flooding is such a prevalent issue for the greater Houston area. So it is a very popular class. We also offer property insurance essentials for real estate professionals. And that one is a great class to provide some additional tools for realtors, because in some of the changes that are taking place in today's marketplace, it's important that real estate professionals can justify the value that they bring to their clients. And one of the ways you can do that is understand how your client's going to be using the property that they're purchasing is going to drive the insurance consideration. So if you have a client that's purchasing a home and it's going to be their primary residence, and you've got a client that's purchasing a home and they're going to be leasing it as an investment property, those are 2 different insurance plans. So we look at 6 different types of residential real estate property, and how those properties are being used is going to drive the coverage that we would want. And we've also, because of the popularity, we've added some discussions about short-term rentals in there as well. So folks that are buying, we had the conversation earlier about if folks are buying property for, like in Galveston for Airbnb, that would be a short-term rental plan. So we'll talk about that as well. And then the last one is real estate liability, reduce your risk and protect your license. And that's a 3-hour class. So we spend a lot of time talking about risk and exposure, what they are, what we can do to minimize those risks, and how can we offset that exposure. Then we look at 8 issues that real estate professionals face every day, 8 risks that they face every day, and have that conversation. That's correct, 8. Then we talk about 7 ways that you can minimize those risks. Then we have a couple of case studies. So it's a very interactive class where we go through and find out what was done right, what was done wrong, and we have those discussions based upon those 7 ways that you can minimize those risks. And at the end of the class, we'll talk about 3 ways you can offset that exposure through 3 business insurance plans.
Well, it's interesting with each and every real estate transaction being different, and especially for the more volume you do as an agent, the more you're at risk, right? It's a numbers thing. So I would think that would be a very important class for the realtor to be a part of, to make sure that you do the right things, have the right mindset each time, each and every interaction, let alone transactions, to keep out of trouble, and also to provide tremendous service and exceed expectations.
Well, it really is, because you're dealing, not only is this the largest financial transaction that somebody's probably ever going to do, there's also very much of an emotional aspect to it. So we've got to keep that in mind and understand how we're doing it. So, dealing with the property condition, what's the value of the home? What are some area risks that people may not be aware of? How are you documenting your conversations? How are you communicating? With the advent of social media, that can be a potential issue. Are you still traveling with clients to locations? So we go through several areas where, there's those risks, and talk about what those are, and then give very specific examples of ways that you can minimize those risks, so lessen the chance of something bad happening.
I bet there's people right now listening thinking, man, I'd love to have John come over, present one of these classes, maybe all of them during over a certain period of time, what do people need to do if they say, hey, we want you to come out here to the XYZ brokerage in Pearland or wherever else? How do they get you on the schedule?
Well, the easiest way is just to give me a call, and just call the office at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. Ask for me. We can get it scheduled. You can learn more about us, including the classes, at stewartinsurance.com, or you can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
Sounds pretty easy.
It is very easy.
So someone could be in Pearland, Woodlands, all over the place. Is there a special number, John, say for inside the loop of Houston?
The Inside the Loop is a brand new number. We had to make a change. It's 866-798-2827.
Super awesome. Thank you so much, John Bramlett. And let's tell them the website, John, of Stewart Insurance.
stewartinsurance.com.
Because it's so great. As you mentioned, the different classes, there's also all sorts of insurance information right there at stewartinsurance.com. Thank you so much, John Bramlett.
Appreciate it, Bill.
Well, here we are. Once again, as we have the last segment of the show, we are bringing back from Coastal Dreams Realty, Gigi Bauer and Stacy McAdams. Ladies, welcome back.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, there you are.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us back.
Well, as we close things down, Gigi, what else do you want people to know?
Well, it's really important to let everyone know that we are here for them. We understand that this can be a stressful time. It can be just anxious time, and we want to be there for them. And I know as a first-time home buyer, when I was going through it, Stacy did such a great job. Literally, you just, held my hand throughout the whole process. So I definitely said, if I become a realtor, this is the kind of realtor I want to be, because it really helped me out a whole lot.
And it's so interesting how you became part of the group and got into real estate by going through the real estate experience and saying, hey, here we go. And Stacy, what else should we know?
I just want everyone to know, sellers, there's buyers out there, list your home because it's going to sell. Buyers, don't be nervous about the interest rates. We're professionals. We know our group, our people that help us, lenders and all that out there, our business partners. They are going to find the best deal for you and help you with these interest rates. I've seen some phenomenal things with the lenders and the interest rates. So don't be nervous. Get out there, buy a home, be a homeowner. It is so rewarding.
And we heard about how there are buyers out there, and some of them are on the bench sitting around. But what about sellers? How many sellers do you think are out there you think there's some that are sitting there on the sidelines waiting for something?
Yes, I do. I think they're nervous because maybe in some neighborhoods, some houses are sitting a little longer than others, so it's making them nervous. But if you get with your professional realtor and they're going to show you where you need to list, what you need to do to your house to get it ready so that yours will stand out in the neighborhood. Mine aren't sitting. A lot of ours aren't sitting because we go out there and we walk the house. We make sure what needs to be done to get that house sold and get the best price.
So sellers, be alert. Let the word go forth, right? Sell your house. Now, we hear people say now's a good time. Now's the time to buy.
It's always a good time.
Now's the time to sell.
Always.
It's that easy. Gigi, let's tell people how they can reach you.
713-252-9900. 713-252-9900.
Stacy McAdams, broker associate. My number is 281-222-1144. 281-222-1144.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
And now, from the Northeast, here they are. Corey Herring and Michael O'Neill with Keller Williams. That's right, Keller Williams Northeast. Welcome back.
Thank you.
As we close things down, Michael, first of all, what else do you want people to know about Keller Williams Northeast? And I know you're watching the trends. You're on it. What should we know?
I think it's really important right now. People have also, all the changes that we've had in the real estate industry alone, it's really important right now to work with experience, somebody that really is skilled, that knows what they're doing. So if you're a seller and you're thinking about selling, make sure you interview multiple agents. Don't just go with that referral because they've got a real estate license. You need to have a conversation with them to make sure that they're going to be able to handle your transaction from point A to point B and everything in between. I tell people all the time that, look, we're unlicensed therapists, really. So we're good with emotions. We're able to pull people together to get them to the closing table. So if you're a seller and you're thinking about selling, make sure you interview more than one agent and make sure they're a good fit for you. They communicate well with the way that you think and the way that you feel, and to make sure that they're going to answer their phone. So I think that's really important, and we've heard a lot through the last few years, and with all the changes that have happened, we're seeing a big difference in the way agents communicate with their clients.
You know, if I were to put up a billboard, not just about real estate, but about anything, it would say, answer your phone. Let's tell people your role again, Corey.
Yeah, I'm an assistant team leader at Keller Williams Northeast, and so agent support, education, and training is my passion. It's what I wake up every morning excited to do, even on the hard days, because real estate, we have a lot of hard days. And so I'd love to connect with any realtors that are struggling and having hard times today, especially with the changes in August with the NAR settlement. Truly was a very big hype for something that in reality, my agents that are closing contracts are not struggling with it the way that we thought they would. And I think that really attributes to KW value proposition. We were trained how to express our value to sellers and earn that compensation that we are due. And so I want to connect with anyone struggling with that and really help them understand their value.
Yeah, in a way, the broker's rep agreement is just common sense, and it also, I think, just spells things out way better.
Full transparency. And at KW, we always were trained to have our buyer's representation signed, and we always were trained to be fully transparent with our compensation with both parties. And so it was very shocking whenever the news came out, and I kind of was looking around the market center like, y'all are doing that, right? Like, we were already supposed to be doing that. And so it hasn't hit the market or the industry as hard as I think people were afraid of because of fear mindset. And so it would be good to connect with agents that are struggling with it.
And Corey, let's tell people, and again, also there may be someone listening that wants to join the team or so forth. So let's give them your phone number, Corey Herring.
Yeah, 936-402-2921. Again, 936-402-2921.
And Michael O'Neill, your phone number is?
832-797-3780. 832-797-3780.
And reminding people far and wide, when we say Keller Williams Northeast, that's Northeast Houston. Because we know, Michael, people are hearing the show all over the place, especially on the internet. So Northeast Houston, it's a beautiful place. They call it the livable forest, right?
They do.
And now the Evan Ballou Group returns with Corey Fleming and Crystal Swaney. Ladies, the final minutes of the show. What do you think, Corey?
It's been wonderful, Bill.
Pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yes, very.
And we even got to talk about chickens.
Yes.
That's a rarity on the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I could do that.
Well, we're glad you brought that forth. In the meantime, before we close things down, Crystal, what else should we know?
I know that there's kind of the elephant in the room. There's a lot of sellers sitting, waiting. I hope that they know this probably will resonate with a lot of them. So a lot of them are sitting in their homes. The new interest rates, or these higher interest rates, I should say, are sort of eating up their equity. So in a lot of cases, even with their equity considered, they wouldn't be able to rebuy their own home and have the same payment. To move is to downgrade right now. So I think it's just scary. But I think if everybody sits and waits, then the market will be saturated when they fall. And then it'll bring prices down more.
It's a good time to sell. So we embellish that.
Yes.
And I like that it's a good time to buy. And you know why? One of the reasons it's a good time to buy, because it's going to get cooler, I hope. And it's better to look at real estate.
Kidding.
It's better to do anything when it's a little bit less
cooler.
oppressive.
That's
right,
true.
Corey?
Absolutely.
Corey, let's tell people your phone number.
It is 281-846-8117. That's 281-846-8117.
And by the way, 2 acres, does that, other than taking care of the chickens, there's extra maintenance involved with that kind of a property.
I have a riding mower. I mow it and edge it myself.
Do some edging.
Yeah, I have a huge pride of ownership of my property. 281-846-8117.
And Crystal, your number is?
281-235-2979. Again, 281-235-2979.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Bill.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. Simply go to stewart.com/radio stewart.com/radio. You can see and hear not just this show, but all the shows. You can also go to stewart.com. You want to close your transaction at Stewart. We would love to be stewards of your real estate transaction. So much information is at stewart.com. And of course, stewartinsurance.com. Again, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening. We'll see you next week.